Well, hello and welcome to the KBC Christmas Variety Hour, the first of its kind, broadcasting live-ish from KBC Studios, located just outside of beautiful downtown Kirkwood East, or as some like to call it, Webster Groves. We have a tremendous show for you tonight, and we're so excited to be here with you. Among the many players that are featured, we've got Jody Clegg, Taylor Mason, and Doug Gavin, all of whom will be rounding out our chock full of Hawk house band for the evening. Rebecca Toth, Mary Hastings, Chrissy Vandergriff, and Mary Vance will be reading Christmas poems in the first half hour, and then the second half hour we'll have more great Christmas poetry from Tara Crane, Brenna Lacey, Mark Lawson, and Phil Maxwell. The KBC Brass are here tonight, as are Don B. and Dan Penberthy with some first-class Christmas jokes. Hal Morris will be sharing a Christmas reflection. Katie Hastings will be sharing her Christmas gifts. Dr. Darrell Pitt will tell us about a special night at his house. Pat and Alton Lacey are going to share a Christmas song. And Alton Lacey will be heading out for a spectacular live-action event that you definitely don't want to miss. And that's just some of what we've got packed in to this evening's show. Meanwhile, all of it's being watched over by the lovely Mrs. Andrea Lacey, our executive producer, who keeps the wheels greased and the train headed in the right direction. So we've got a great show for you tonight, and we hope you enjoy it. We hope you'll stick around, and that by the end it has brought some real joy to your heart during a Christmas season that we know is occurring amidst one of the more extraordinary and challenging years on record. So I mentioned we're broadcasting from Kirkwood East, or Webster Groves. It's where KBC Studios happens to be located. And these two towns of Kirkwood and Webster really are two of the finest little towns in the Midwest, maybe in all of the United States. Kirkwood, according to the city's website, was founded in 1853 and is named for James Pugh Kirkwood. It was apparently the first planned commuter suburb west of the Mississippi. Also, according to the Kirkwood City website, Webster Groves, quote, was founded much later by rogues, rascals, and good-for-nothings. I'm kidding. But there is a healthy rivalry between these two towns, as exemplified by the annual Turkey Day game played since 1898 between the two high schools, the Statesmen and the Pioneers, respectively. The record currently stands at 58 to Webster Groves, 53 to Kirkwood, and 7 ties between the two. And to celebrate these two wonderful towns, we're going to start the evening off with a song about Christmas in Kirkwood. Well, it's Christmas time in Kirkwood, folks getting ready for the big day. Hit the morning kick at Caldy's, swing by the Magic House to play. Grab a tree at the farmer's market and a quick treat at the Sugar Shack. Walk the dog in the park before it gets dark and grab Dewey's on the way back. Well, they're hanging up the greenery at all the churches in the town. They'll be lighting candles and singing songs before it all comes down. Preachers fixing up the sermon, choirs working out its eggshell C's, and the kids are learning their lines for this year's nativity. Well, it's Christmas time in Kirkwood, come on down and see the lights. You can't beat the way those old houses come alive on December nights. There's no Christmas time like Kirkwood's, well, everybody knows. They treat you right every day and night from your head to your mistletoes. Here we go! Well, it's Christmas time in Kirkwood, folks getting ready for the big day. Get the morning kick at Caldy's, swing by the Magic House to play. Grab a tree at the farmer's market and a quick treat at the Sugar Shack. Walk the dog in the park before it gets dark and grab Dewey's on the way back. Well, they're hanging up the greenery at all the churches in the town. They'll be lighting candles and singing songs before it all comes down. Preacher's fixing up his sermon, choir's working out its eggshell C's, And the kids are learning their lines for this year's nativity. Well, it's Christmas time in Kirkwood. Come on down and see the lights. You can't beat the way those old houses come on live on December nights. There's no Christmas time like Kirkwood's. Well, everybody knows. Unless you head on around the corner to good old Webster Groves. Well, there are definitely some dubious characters in the chock full of Hawk house band. So at this point in the show, delighted to welcome on our friend and senior pastor of Kirkwood Baptist Church, Matt Vandergriff. Dr. Matt Vandergriff, how are you, sir? Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, Aaron. Glad to be on here with you.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I mean, it's the KBC Christmas Variety Hour. So it was actually in the contract. It was mandatory that we include the senior pastor from the church. And I think under your contract, you have 4 minutes. The blue and green M&Ms should be in the bowl in your dressing room right now. Yes. I know that was in the contract as well. Is that right?
Yes.
You felt all of that was satisfactory, I hope?
It was great. Excellent.
Okay, very good. So seriously, thank you so much for making time. Thank you for supporting our effort to put this together. And of course, for overseeing everything we do at the church and, all the great things that come along with that, including our community and the fun little projects like this. So glad you could be part of this. I wanted you to have a chance to introduce yourself in the church, but also my understanding is you're going to read the Christmas story for us tonight. So why don't I just turn it over and take it away, Dr. V?
All right. Yes. Hello, everyone. So good to, sort of see you, I guess. So grateful for Aaron and the work that he's done and everybody who's contributed to make this video possible. The goal here is to try and find ways to create connectivity during this season. All of the ways that we've usually marked time during this year are just look different. And so when Aaron came up with this idea, I just said, hey, let's run with it and see where it goes. And it has thus far been a great experience. To just tell you how different things are right now for me and my family, we have spent the holidays here with just us, that sort of thing, trying to figure out ways to stay connected to our family. But it also means there's a lot of togetherness time, and that can be both a blessing and, other things. So, all of that matters. And we do hope from the Vandergriffs, we do hope that you are having a happy holiday. If you are not connected with people right now, we would appreciate you reaching out to us. We would love to be in connection with you during this season.
Absolutely.
As Aaron mentioned, I'm going to be reading the Christmas story from Luke 2. It's actually the same story that we're going to be reading throughout the Christmas season as we celebrate in our worship services. And specifically, I'm going to be reading from Eugene Peterson's The Message, which is a translation that's uniquely his, but it's also a very readable translation. So you're not going to hear all sorts of things that you might have heard from other stories. So Luke chapter 2 goes something like this. About that time, Caesar Augustus ordered a census to be taken throughout the empire. This was the first census when Quirinius was governor of Syria. Everyone had to travel to his or her ancestral hometown. They had to be accounted for. So Joseph went to the Galilean town of Nazareth, up to Bethlehem in Judah, David's town, for the census. As a descendant of David, that's where he had to go. He went with Mary, his fiancée, who also happened to be pregnant. And while they were there, the time came for the child to be born. And she gave birth to a son, her firstborn. She wrapped him in a blanket and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the hostel. There were shepherders camping in the neighborhood. They had set night watches over their sheep. Suddenly, God's angels stood among them and God's glory blazed around them. They were terrified. The angels said what angels always say, "Don't be afraid. I'm here to announce a great and joyful event that's meant for everyone, the entire world. A Savior has been born in David's town, a Savior who is Messiah and Master. This is what you're to look for, a baby wrapped in a blanket and lying in a manger." At once, the angel was joined with a huge angelic choir, singing God's praises. Glory to God in the heavenly heights, peace to all men and women on earth who please him. As the angel choir withdrew to heaven, the shepherders talked it over. Let's get over to Bethlehem and as fast as we can and see for ourselves what God has revealed to us. They left, running, and found Mary and Joseph and the baby lying in the manger. Seeing was believing. They told everyone what the angels had said to them about this child, and all who heard the shepherders were impressed. Mary kept all these things to herself, holding them dear deep within inside her. The shepherders returned and let loose, glorifying and praising God for everything they had heard and seen. It turned out exactly the way that they had been told. As you celebrate this season, maybe connected to your family or maybe separated, remember that part of what we celebrate in this season is the birth of the Messiah, who found himself wandering in a place that he hadn't been before, with his parents having to take a journey. As you continue this journey together, we ask that you continue to find ways to connect, to find ways to continue to join with the celebration of this season. Until we are able to meet in person safely, thank you for your participation in worship, for seeing things like this video, and for helping lead Kirkwood Baptist Church during this time.
Some thoughtful words from Matt, as always, as well as a beautiful reading of the Christmas story. So up next, we have a number from one of the treasures of Kirkwood Baptist Church, the KBC Brass. And I want to give a special shout out to Doug Gavin, who not only is a part of the brass and helped organize this event, but actually went up to the church and did all the recording and the mixing and the producing of the number. If you've ever done that kind of thing, you know it's a lot of work. So thank you, Doug. Deeply appreciated. So that's up next, following this quick word from one of our sponsors. This first portion of our show is brought to you by Hands on Kirkwood, a missional community project making a difference since 2007. They're also the sponsor of our Chock full of Hock, H-O-K, house band. This first portion of our show is also supported by the Kirkwood Sandpaper and Sackcloth Company. If you need it to scratch or you need it to itch, they'll fix you up in a stitch. Coincidentally, the Kirkwood Sandpaper and Sackcloth Company is also the exclusive maker of Hands on Kirkwood's t-shirts and has been since 2007. I'm sorry, there's somebody on the phone. Oh, it's for me. Oh, it's Jason Norton. Tell him yeah. great performance. Thank you to the KBC Brass again for getting together and making that possible. Some of you may have noticed that there was some of the shots were a little blurred during the performance. I was chatting with Doug, and one explanation is that one of the cameras during the shoot had some issues with its autofocus. I prefer to think that the performance was just so powerful that the camera itself was overwhelmed with emotion and had tears in its eyes. So at this point, we're going to turn from some music of the season to some poetry of the season. And to do that, we're going to get some help from Mary Hastings, Mary Vance, Rebecca Toth, and Chrissy Vandergriff. So let's dial them up. Hello, hello. Thank you guys so much for joining and agreeing to read some poetry. I was talking to the other folks who are reading poetry with us for the show, and we were just noting that a lot of the greatest art that's out there, whether it's music or theater or certainly paintings over the years, and poetry as well, has been generated in connection with Christmas. And this is certainly a joy for me personally. I'm a big poetry fan. I'm so grateful for you all for being a part of this. So without further ado, because I know we want to get into the poems, I think, Chrissy, you were the first person in our crew today who was going to read a poem. So why don't I turn it over to you? What are you reading tonight?
Okay, we are reading An Old Christmas Greeting, and the author is not known, but I can tell you that there is so much excitement. There's a sense of celebration. So let me read. Sing hey, for Christmas Day. Twine mistletoe and holly for friendship glows and winter snows. And so let's all be jolly.
Thank you, ma'am. So who is next? One of the Marys, I think.
That'd be me. I am reading Holly and Holiness by Ralph W. Seeger. And it is a poem that brings together both kind of parts of our Christmas season. The holly and the holiness. Holly and holiness come well together. Christ child and Santa Claus share the winter weather. Plums and plum pudding and turkey with dressing. Choirs sing carols, all have his blessing. Crush on the mantle, wreaths at the door, toys in the windows, crowds in the store, not really right now. Flame on the candle, glow in the heart. Tree in the living room, each has its part. Shepherds come seeking the child who would be both lamb and shepherd in God's Trinity. Angels with innkeepers, wise men and kings kneel to the promise that Christmas still brings. Silent night, holy night, jingle bells jingle. Tinsel and swaddling clothes now intermingle. Christmas is made up of highlights and lowliness, gift wrapped by God with his holly and holiness.
I love that poem, and I love that you were editorializing. It's living art. We're bringing it into the 20th or 21st century, adding to it. All right, very good. So Rebecca, my co-host of Weekly Youth Sunday School, how are you? Thank you for joining this evening.
Good.
So what do you got for us?
Well, I have an excerpt from Old Christmastide by Sir Walter Scott, and I had to look it up because it's such a little bit, and it's actually the first opening stanza of the poem. And I read the whole poem, and he's a Scot, so I didn't really understand all of the words because it's old Scottish. There's a few things, but it kind of resonates with Chrissy in this joy, and that it's the simple things, it's the little things that will keep Christmas merry. The whole poem is sort of in that theme. So it says, "Heap on more wood. The wind is chill, but let it whistle as it will. We'll keep our Christmas merry still."
Yeah. Mary Vance, welcome. What do you have for us this evening?
I have a poem about snow, and it's been very warm so far this year, but I'm hoping that we will get some snow because it does it gives you this sense of just quiet and contemplation sometimes. And so anyway, that's what this poem is about. It's The Snow by Emily Dickinson. It sips from leaden sieves. It powders all the wood. It fills with alabaster wool the wrinkles of the road. It makes an even face of mountain and of plain, unbroken forehead from the east unto the east again. It reaches to the fence It wraps it rail by rail. Till it is lost in fleeces, it flings a crystal veil. On stump and stack and stem, the summer's empty room. Acres of seams where harvests were, recordless but for them. It ruffles wrists of posts as ankles of a queen, then stills its artisans like ghosts, denying they have been.
Well, I love that last stanza especially.
Yeah, me too.
Just imagine that blanket of snow out over the fields and over the posts, you know, and everything so quiet and still. Thank you so much. So we have another round of poems, and I guess, Chrissy, that brings us back to you. Is that right?
Yeah. So my next one is called The Holy Star, and it's by William Cullen Bryant. And I love this because it's almost a prayer. It's recognizing this year that we've had, or the year that's been, and yet each year leads us back to the birth of the Messiah. As shadows cast by cloud and sun filter o'er the summer grass, so in thy sight, Almighty One, earth's generations pass. And while the years an endless host come pressing swiftly on, the brightest names that earth can boast just glisten and are gone. Yet doth the star of Bethlehem shed a luster pure and sweet, and still it leads, as once it led, to the Messiah's feet. O Father, may that holy star grow every year more bright, and send its glorious beams afar to fill the world with light.
Boy, what a great poem that is. So let's see, Mrs. Hastings, what do you got?
The next one is called So Remember by somebody nobody knows. It's anonymous. But it's about Christmas shouldn't just be one day a year, that it should be something you live throughout the entire year. So it's a good reminder. So remember. So remember, while December brings the only Christmas day, in the year let there be Christmas in the things you do and say. Wouldn't life be worth living? Wouldn't dreams be coming true if we kept the Christmas spirit all the whole year through?
I like that one too, very much. I like all of these. I just think they're great. All right, so Rebecca, back to you again. This one won't be as short, I don't think. I think you have a little more to read this time around.
It's a little more to read this time. And this one, like Mary's, is anonymous. But I really liked it. To me, it sounds like a lullaby. The cadence of it sounds like a lullaby, which is appropriate, I think. So this is called Long, Long Ago. Wind through the olive trees softly did blow, round little Bethlehem, long, long ago. Sheep on the hillside lay whiter than snow. Shepherds were watching them long, long ago. Then from the happy sky, angels bent low, singing their songs of joy long, long ago. For in a manger bed, cradled we know, Christ came to Bethlehem long, long ago.
That's great. That's great. Mary Vance, we're back to you for the last. Is that it? Gosh, I can't believe how quickly we actually got through 8 poems. What's the so we had Emily Dickinson last time. How about this time?
This one is by James Allen, and it's short and sweet. Call him immortal. Oh, it's called The Eternal Light. Call him immortal. Call him truth and light, and splendor of prophetic majesty, who bideth thus amidst the powers of night, clothed with the glory of divinity.
Boy, I keep saying this after every single one, but the combination of words there, you know, is just in my mind, the imagery, it evokes a lot of feeling and thought for me. Well, we're done. I can't believe we like I said, the poetry's already been read. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and just a wonderful time with the family, and that, you know, that holly and holiness comes together for you in just the right way and the right balance. And that you're also, of course, able to spend some time on Christmas Day, maybe moving all of those things to the side and, focusing on the things that matter.
Merry Christmas, KBC family.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Well, that was wonderful. Really quite wonderful. Thank you again to all our readers. Okay, folks, take a deep breath because we're ready. I understand from our executive producer, Andrea Lacey, that I promised at the top of the show, if you'll recall, a live action event. And I understand that we are now ready for that live action event. So grab your skis and your ski poles, put on your ski hats, because we are headed out to West County where Dr. Aaron Lacey is waiting for us. Dad, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh man, it looks amazing there. So why don't you tell us where you are right now?
I'm out here at the top I'm in Hidden Valley at the top of the Widowmaker's Run, brand new.
I tell you, it looks different. The last time I was there, I just don't remember the mountains being so big. They've really done some tremendous work. So
yeah, the elevation is really something out here.
It appears to be. Now look, a lot of people said to us, don't send a 70-year-old out to the top of Widowmaker's Run. That's ill-advised. But you told me you thought you could do it. So tell us where you learned to ski.
Well, I learned to ski in Louisiana. I've skied ever since I was a kid.
That's what you told me. That's what I said.
Yeah. Of course, it was behind a boat. But it's a lot the same thing as snow skiing. I mean, behind a boat's pulling you. This is just gravity going down a hill. So
wait, I'm sorry, sir. You're telling me you've not actually snow skied before?
Well, not actually, but I water skied. It's a lot the same thing, except for the alligators and water moccasins. And I mean, that's better,
Okay, well, I am definitely reconsidering this whole thing. But, you're out there. We're live. So, all right, let's just go for it. Now, look, tell us what we're going to experience because KBC Studios spent a lot of money to hook you up. So walk the folks through what they're going to see.
Well, you had this GoPro thing, but I got something better. I got this flip phone that I had. So I'm just going to turn this flip phone on, and it'll be just like watching IMAX or something like that.
Dad,
all live when we go to.
You don't have the GoPro?
No. That thing, I can't figure that out. This flip phone's a lot better.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm starting to regret some of the decisions that I have made, but again, you're out there and the mountain looks incredible. So I tell you what, why don't you get comfortable and we're ready when you are.
All right. I'm going to get these skis on.
All right.
And,
put them on.
I'm ready to go. I'm going to get my hand through these thingies here.
Yeah, the ski poles.
And I'm going to turn around and I'm going to take off. Okay. You ready?
All right. Good luck, Dad. I'm ready.
Here I go. Switching to the GoPro.
Well, Dad, we cannot see you. The GoPro is. Oh man, the GoPro's not working. The screen's gone black. Well, look, just tell us what you're experiencing. Try to describe everything to us.
Well, it's pretty easy right now. I'm just kind of sliding down the hill. There's some big bumps up ahead, right? There's some big bumps. What are those things?
Ogles.
I'm about to hit those. Woo! All right. Well, that was something. I hope there aren't any more of those.
Yeah.
But here I am. Okay. Well, things going pretty well now.
Good.
Along here, everything looks real pretty. Wait a minute. It's a moose. A moose is in front of me. It's one of them Missouri wildwood moose. Oh, man, I got to beat him. I'm heading off into the water.
Oh, no. Dad, be careful. My goodness. What? Can you see anything? Where are you?
I can't. These branches hit me in the face. I can't see anything. All right. Well, here I come. Looks like I don't think this is right. I'm crossing a highway. Is there a highway on the ski ride? Looks
Dad,
like
be
I'm
careful.
Go, goodness. Come the car. Another car. Hey, people are yelling. That was very nice. I can't stop. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm across, and I see a church down there. Church. So I'm going to head into that church. Yeah, I'm going to ski right into a live nativity. Oh, my goodness. There's animals all over the place. Jesus, Joseph, and Mary. I mean, they're all okay, by the way. They're all okay. But, at least I think they're okay.
What, you just skied through a nativity scene?
I just skied through a nativity. That's right. Okay, seems to be something else up ahead here. It looks like a concert's going on. I believe that's the KBC. Hey, KBC. They must be visiting a church here. Oh, goodness.
Can you slow
I can't
down?
stop
Can you
this
slow
thing.
down at all? This is
I
an incredibly
don't know
long
how-
ski run.
I don't know how you sleep. I don't know how to do that. Okay, I'm going through a group of carolers here, and looks like a nice run. Throw snowballs at me. Ouch! Ouch! Don't do that. Hey, those are angry carolers. Oh, goodness. All right, I'm out of the village, going down another big hill, and coasting to a stop here. Looks like I'm in a big wilderness area, just a wildwood wilderness.
Well,
This
is
may
there
be the
anyone
end
around,
there.
Dad? Can you
There's
see
nobody.
anything?
There's nothing here, but sounds like there might be some wild animals out around here.
Oh, my goodness.
Wait a minute. It's St. Louis, the grand dog. Louis the grand dog. How
Louis
did
is
you
there
find
with
me,
you?
Louis? Yeah, Louis here with me. It's a Christmas miracle. Louis, go for help, boy. Go for help.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Well,
He's
Dad,
going off. He's going off. And I think, hey, a snowmobile. A snowmobile coming on a ski patrol. I'm saved.
thank goodness. All right. How are they going to get you back? What are they
Well,
doing?
look, they're calling in a helicopter.
A
They're gonna
helicopter.
fly, they're gonna fly me back up to the run. It looks like.
Well, that
All
doesn't
right.
seem like a good idea.
Okay. Well, what I'm gonna do now?
Are you back at the top of the run?
I am back at the top of the run, and I am switching back to the main camera now.
Oh, there you are. Oh my goodness, Dad, are you okay? I never should have seen you out there. I can't believe we did that.
Well, I think I'm okay.
Do you feel everything's in order?
Yeah, I think so. Kind of all went about like I thought it'd go. I mean,
like you thought it would go.
That's the first time to ski. That's a pretty good deal for snow skiing, I thought.
Well, why don't you come on back home?
No, I don't think so. I probably ought to get back to the lodge down there. And best way to do it. Huh? What?
You're not going to ski, are you?
Oh, it's the quickest way back down there. So I'm
Dad.
going to switch back. I got to get this straight again. I'm going to switch back to my camera.
No, don't do that. Don't switch back to the GoPro.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to start down, so I'm switching back. Hey, it's been fun. See you
We
guys
lost you
later.
again, Dad. Oh, my goodness. Well, Godspeed, Dad. Godspeed. Aaron Lacey, ladies and gentlemen, live, and still living from Hidden Valley. Should we be concerned? Should we send somebody out there? Okay, maybe. I don't know. Well, one thing's for certain. There's no shortage of Christmas hams at Kirkwood Baptist Church. So at this point, we're going to go from Wildwood, West County, to the home of the Pitts, where Dr. Darrell Pitt is going to tell us about something that happened in his household many years ago.
Oh, you made it. Come on up. I'm glad you made it here. I'm glad to see you. Well, actually, I guess you're seeing me, at least I hope, and I'm not getting to see you. I invited you here tonight to tell you about something that happened to me and our family at this house. I keep a diary. As you can tell, it's pretty big, and that's because I'm an old man. And I need to tell you about a story that happened some time ago. I'd like to read to you what I've written. It occurred right around Christmas. Let me see, here's a calendar. Yeah, it wasn't actually Christmas. It was the day after Christmas. Yeah, that's it. I remember it was the night before Christmas. And all through the house, not a creature was stirring. Not even a moose. a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, threw open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, they mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each tiny little hoof. As I drew in my head, I was turning around. Down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly. It shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sled, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Thank you, Dr. Pitt. As always, wonderful, wonderful. And also, thank you to Rhonda Pitt, who I assume is your executive producer. So a couple of things at this point in the show. First of all, you may recall earlier when our poetry was being read that while that poetry was being read, you could hear a medley of Christmas music. That was Susie Schoonmaker playing that piano medley along with the poetry. And Susie, I apologize for not mentioning that sooner. So just another example of the great talent we have here at KBC. At this point, we're going to transition. You may recall that we asked folks to send in Christmas greetings. As a big focus of this entire program is connection, and we wanted to create an opportunity for folks in the church to be able to reach out and wish a Merry Christmas to everyone else. And that's what we're going to do now. The incomparable Jody Clegg is going to be playing another medley for us while you all get to see all the different greetings that came in. So Merry Christmas and enjoy.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from the Laceys.
Merry Christmas from June Harder.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas from the Kaplans.
Merry Christmas.
Hi KBC, Tara Crane here. I would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas. Here's to a happy holiday season and many blessings in the year to come.
Merry Christmas from the Litherlands.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Dean and Wendy Shaw here in our Wildwood, Missouri home. During this disconnected year, we have missed worshiping with you each week. We wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
And here's to a healthy and happy 2021, and that we can all be together again soon.
Merry Christmas from David and Linda. This caroling has been wonderful. Thank you.
Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings to you, whatever you want. I don't know the words to that song that she's singing.
Merry Christmas from the Klutz family.
Hey KBCers, it's hard to believe I'm already celebrating my second Christmas here in St. Louis with all of you. Well, kind of with all of you. We can't be together, of course, but I know that we've been together virtually through worship this year, and I'm grateful that we've been able to have those opportunities, though they are not the same as being in person. And I look forward to the day in 2021 when we can finally start being back together again. So, in the meantime, I want to share this Christmas message with all of you, which is dear to many of us. It's become dear to me, from the musical Meet Me in St. Louis, or St. Louis, I should say. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, let your heart be light. Next year, all our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, make the Yuletide gay. Next year, all our troubles will be miles away. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Merry Christmas, KBC.
We're Alton and Pat Lacey, and we wish all of our KBC friends a very Merry Christmas
And a Happy New Year.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Merry Christmas from the Easterlings.
Happy holidays.
And our cats.
Merry Christmas. Go.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Take two. Go. Merry Christmas. Now you are. No, say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy birthday. No, Bagel, that's not how it works. It's Merry Christmas. Oh, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Debbie.
From our house to yours, we're wishing you a Merry Christmas 2020.
Merry Christmas from the Mason family.
Merry Christmas from the Masons.
Hi, Aaron Lacey here, wishing you a very Merry Christmas.
Buon Natale.
Feliz Navidad.
Joyeux Noel.
Mele Kalikimaka.
Merry Christmas, everybody, from the Maxwells.
Merry Christmas from the Shaver family.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas from the Vandergrafts.
Merry Christmas from the Eatons.
Hello there. I wish we were in church singing Christmas carols together
Me too.
next year.
Next year.
For sure. We love you all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Be safe.
Hi, I'm Ian Serkin, and I just want to say that I really miss getting to see all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Stay safe.
Merry Christmas from the Watts family to yours.
Merry Christmas from the Hastings!
Happy Christmas!
Happy Christmas. We miss you guys.
We miss everyone.
Looking forward to seeing more of you in 2021.
Boy, it just warms my heart to watch all those Christmas greetings. Thank you to everyone who sent those in, and of course, thank you to Mr. Jody Clegg for lending his talents to our efforts. So at this point, we're going to bring back up the Chock Full of Hock House Band for a rendition of Silent Night, showcasing Taylor Mason and Jody Clegg, but really featuring the marvelous Mr. Doug Gavin. Not only does Doug play the trumpet on this version of Silent Night, but he also produced both the audio and video for this number. So Doug, boy, many thanks again to you, sir. We'll get right to that after this word from our sponsors. This middling part of our show is brought to you by Holy Holy Grape Juice. Was it another rough morning? Did you wake up in a cardboard box on top of a futon in your college roommate's garage? How did that happen? Oh, that's right. You remember now, stumbling around the night before, following a day of shenanigans and debauchery? Where did it all go wrong? Why, just yesterday morning you started the day at church. Everything was going swimmingly. You were singing the hymns, you were praying the prayers, you even went up for communion. You had the unleavened bread, and then, oh, the wine. And that's what got you. Wouldn't that have been a great time for a Holy Holy Grape Juice, America's #1 non-alcoholic communion beverage? Came over in 1620 on the Mayflower, and it's been keeping pilgrims and Protestants in a straight line ever since. Ladies and gentlemen, the next time you go up for communion, don't forget your Holy Holy Grape Juice.
is born.
So I mentioned earlier, we're very privileged at KBC to have a lot of folks who have been blessed with a lot of different talents. And that includes individuals who served in various different types of ministry positions. Not only our professional ministry team at the church, but we've got a number of folks in our congregation, some of them now retired, who were ministers, who preached, who served in other capacities. One of those individuals is Hal Morris. And we reached out to Hal and said, hey, would you have an interest in providing some sort of Christmas reflection for the KBC Christmas Variety Hour? And he said that he would. So at this point, we're going to dial up and have a conversation with Hal. So Hal Morris, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being part of it. Now, we were joking a few moments ago, earlier this evening. I have this pipe that for me is a prop, but I've wondered, you struck me as maybe a guy who might have smoked a pipe once upon a time, maybe back in the 70s, something along those lines. Am I warm?
Yes. Back in the 60s and then on and off for a number of years.
How do I look? Am I doing it the right way?
I think you've got the whole look going. Oh yeah, there you are.
I'm doing my best. So Hal, thank you so much for being on, like I said, the show this evening. And I know we were chatting earlier. You said you spent 29 years, I believe, as the chaplain over at the St. Louis University Children's Hospital.
Right.
And you have a reflection for us tonight that's not necessarily about specific events or experiences, but certainly is fair to say informed by that experience in those years doing that job.
In the end, how it changed my life and how it changed the way I see the world. Absolutely.
Well, take it away, sir, at your discretion.
This is my little reflection, and it even has a title. It's called Big Deal. So Christmas, it's a big deal, right? But what really is the big deal? There's a lot of big deals in Christmas. Santa and baby Jesus, that's a big deal. Flying reindeer and a heavenly host, that's a big deal. Presents under the tree, wise men from afar, another big deal. Family coming over, usually. Shepherds dropping in unannounced, Christmas carols, angels singing. There's a whole bunch of stuff that makes Christmas a big deal. But what is the big deal? To get at that for me, I need to wander around in some of my previous Christmas memories, to revisit some of the big deals to get me to the big deal. When I was about 7 or 8, we had these bubbly lights for the Christmas tree, but they wouldn't bubble until they warmed up a little bit first. So every Christmas morning, we all had to wait on the stairs right outside the family room while my dad went inside and warmed up the bubbly lights. The bubbly lights were a big deal, and so we waited on the bubbly lights. Years later, the very first Christmas after Lynn and I were married, as per the family traditions, we went out to get a live Christmas tree. But our upstairs apartment only had 7-foot ceilings. As a result, we ended up buying 5 feet off the top of a 12-foot pine tree. It was perfect. It was a big deal. And we didn't have any bubbly lights. About a year later, we had our first baby. Babies are always a big deal for us and for our parents, especially my parents, because it was their first grandbaby. And as a result, they flew all 3 of us first class from Rochester, New York to Detroit, Michigan. I remember the stewardess made our son a little mobile out of luggage tags. He was 9 days old on a plane flying to Detroit. It was a very big deal for everyone. Yeah. A few years later, we were in the northern suburbs of Detroit serving 2 small United Methodist churches. There, I loved the Christmas services. They were my big deal. The very first one I did it with one small son on my hip because he made it clear he wanted to be up front with Dad. You never did that, right? And the midnight communion service was always the best for me because it's the cradle and the grave coming together in one time. And I would set up my stereo in this little country Paint Creek church and play For Unto Us a Child is Born. That service was always a great big deal. One Christmas, I got home from the midnight communion service to find my neighbor George on my front porch. Now it's after midnight. George was full of Christmas cheer and not to be denied. Luckily for me, I had to assemble a large cardboard playhouse for Rebecca, which is one of those tab A, slot C sort of stuff that is tedious, crosses your eyes, but requires some precision. George helped until he couldn't, and then he went home, and I reconstructed the playhouse. And the playhouse ended up wonderful, and when Christmas morning came, Rebecca's playhouse was a big deal. Here in St. Louis, I served as chaplain at St. Louis Children's Hospital. It surprises me a bit, but I really don't have any grand Christmas miracle stories to tell from the 29 years I was there. There was a time when the nurses called me to cheer up a weary Santa after a long day visiting sick kids. And I did get a picture with Santa, and I still have it to this day. But the big deal with children's was the way it changed the way I see the world. The kids taught me about being a child, which isn't always childish. I learned how vital mobility and function can be. I learned how critical life-giving contact with those who love you can be. All the units had their own lessons of dependency and wonder, healing and hope. But the neonate unit especially taught me how fragile life always is. And slowly, ever so slowly, because I can be a little thick, as I realized how present God was in all that I did with those kids and their families, I also realized what a risk God took to start among us as a baby. I began to appreciate that Christmas is a big deal for God too. God decided to see, touch, hear, feel, even smell what it is like, what it is really, really like to be what God had made in the first place. The big deal is a baby, fragile, vulnerable, full of promise. Now God not only divinely knows the way God knows what God knows, now God personally, physically, emotionally, socially, really, really in the flesh knows who we are, how we tick, how we get to be who we are. And I suspect how loving us in the end will be an expensive choice. So for me, Christmas' big deal is the gift we didn't even ask for. We got God like us, for us, with us. Emmanuel, God with us. We have Santa and reindeer and presents and too much food, And we have this baby, a baby like every other baby in the world, a baby unique to all time. We got God. And that's the biggest deal of all. And that's what I'm thinking. That's all I got.
Thank you, Hal. I'd say all you got is pretty good. So now we're going to transition from Hal's words of wisdom to words that are intended to make you laugh with a couple of our favorite jokesters, Dan Pemberthy and Don B. This was recorded earlier this afternoon because, as we discussed, we had to work around Dan's very particular schedule. So without any further ado, our two jokesters, Dan and Don. Don, how are you? You got the Christmas sweater on? You're well?
Got the Christmas sweater on. I'm sitting behind my fireplace, and we got the Christmas tree on and all of that. So yeah, trying to be a little festive and everything else, ready to go and ready to get our jokes started.
Get some jokes? All right, good. Well, Dan told me we needed to do this early in the day because Dan, you said you ate dinner at something like 5. Is that right? Bedtime is like 7.
I normally take a nap at 3:05.
So that's it. So we're scheduling around Dan's nap today, which is okay. Which is okay. All right.
Well, if you asleep at the table, you know I'm normal.
I believe it. Okay. So without further ado,
why don't stop talking? I could get on with my joke.
Fair enough. Dan, why don't you start us off? And then we'll go back and forth and see what you guys got.
Okay, this will get Don really good. See, what happened to the man who stole the Advent calendar?
What happened?
He got 25 days.
Very good.
But it's your corn.
Well, what goes, oh, oh, oh?
I don't know what.
Santa walking backwards.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
What goes ho, 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 whoosh, ho, 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 whoosh? Santa going through a revolving door.
Very good. It's good.
That's good.
We got Santa backwards and Santa in a revolving door. I like that.
Why don't you ever see Santa in a hospital?
I don't know why.
Because he has private health care.
Very good. No COVID for Santa. The elf care covers it from the get-go.
Right. How did Mary and Joseph know Jesus' weight when he was born?
I don't know how.
They had a weigh in a manger.
They had a weigh in a manger. That's good. That's good.
Well, what is it that you call a bunch of chess players bragging about their games in a hotel lobby?
I don't know what.
Chestnuts boasting in an open foyer.
Oh my goodness.
I love that one. That's for all the Queen's Gambit fans out there. That's
right.
a chess joke. I love it.
What do you get if you eat Christmas decorations?
I don't know what.
I don't know.
Tonsillitis. Tinselitis.
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 That's good. That's good.
Well, I'm not a wine drinker, but I'm not sure about this one. What is the most popular Christmas wine?
I don't know.
But I don't like Brussels sprouts.
How many letters are in the Christmas alphabet?
How many?
Only 25. There's no L.
No L.
Well, why couldn't the skeleton go to the Christmas party?
Why?
Because he had no body to go with.
Nobody. That's a classic. That's a year-round joke.
That's a good one.
Why are Christmas trees so fond of the past?
I don't know why.
I don't know.
They have presents beneath them. Oh my goodness.
I like that. The presents beneath them. That's pretty good.
A good one.
That's
a good one. Why did Santa get a parking ticket on Christmas Eve?
Why?
Well, obvious. He left his sleigh in a snow parking zone.
Oh my, I love this one. Why don't penguins, what's that word? Penguins fly because they're not tall enough to be pilots.
Oh, goodness. That's good. That's good. I like that one.
I told my wife that one, and she really liked that one, too.
Yeah.
That's a
good
classic.
one. Well, what do you call Santa's little helpers?
What?
Subordinate clauses.
That's the lawyer joke. Subordinate
Yes.
clauses.
Yeah.
I love it. That's good. That's good.
How much did Santa pay for his sleigh?
How much?
How much?
It was on the house.
On the house. That's good. That's good.
I asked my wife what she wanted for Christmas, and she told me nothing would make her happier than a diamond necklace. So I bought her nothing.
So I told my 7th grader this joke, and this was the only joke he really, really liked. He thought that was very clever. Very clever. I got her. She said nothing. She wanted nothing more than a diamond ring, so I got her nothing. It's good. I like that one. Dan, you got a one similar, right? In that same vein.
Well, yes, but I can't pronounce the third word. What is it? Yeah, okay, I got it. I actually bought my wife a beautiful diamond ring for Christmas. I thought she wanted one of those four-wheel drive vehicles. She did. But where was I going to find a fake Jeep?
That's another one I like a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
Where was I going to get a fake Jeep?
What do you get if Santa goes down the chimney when a fire is lit?
What do you get?
Crisp Kringle.
Crisp Kringle. I like that one too.
Okay. What? Oh my. What's a good Christmas tip? Never catch snowflakes with your tongue until all the birds have gone south.
That's good. That's good. I like that one too.
That's good.
That's
well, on the last one here, it's a knock knock.
Hit us.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Anna.
Anna who?
Anna partridge in a pear tree.
Oh my.
Perfect. Perfect. Don B. and Dan Penberthy, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Too. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Dan. I hope it was evident. We had a lot of fun putting that together. So when I was a kid, my parents, Alton and Pat Lacey, used to do 5 or 10 Christmas concerts a year around town. This was a time when folk music was very popular, and a guy with a guitar and a woman with a voice, a nice voice, were in popular demand. I reached out to them and asked if they would do one of the songs that I remembered from when I was a little guy, a song called Christmas Dinner, and they agreed. So without any further ado, Alton and Pat Lacey with Christmas Dinner.
Child, cold and shivering. till his coat reached the boy child, knowing well there was little there. He took from his pocket his old Christmas dinner, a bit of cheese, some bread to share. His outstretched hands held the food and they trembled as the door it opened wide. Said he, would you share with me Christmas dinner? Gently she said, come inside. The gray-haired lady brought forth to the table glasses too, and her last drop of wine. Said she, is a toast to everyone's Christmas, and especially yours and mine. And it came to pass on that Christmas evening, when all the doors were shuttered tight, that in that town the happiest Christmas was shared by candlelight.
Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. Merry Christmas. So that certainly was a gift to me, and hopefully a gift to you all as well. And speaking of gifts, we now have one from the very talented Miss Katie Hastings, who heard we were doing this show and said, you know, I've got something I'd like to include that folks can take a look at. It's really beautiful, and I think you'll enjoy it. But first, we do have another message from our sponsors. This final portion of our show is brought to you by Baptist Beard Wax. Are you a Baptist minister? Were you born in Alaska, moved to Texas, and now lead a church in the Midwest? Do you have milky white skin and a beard like a Viking? Then you need Baptist Beard Wax. Baptist Beard Wax is toxic and highly flammable. Should not be used near churches, congregations, pews, podiums, lights, or candles. Baptist Beard Wax, keeping America's bearded Baptist ministers looking their finest since 1978. Thank you, Katie. Really wonderful. I talked with Katie earlier this week, and she explained to me that what she's doing there is called quilling, if it's not something you're familiar with, and it really is spectacular. So we are now coming in on the final segment of the KBC Christmas Variety Hour. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you will stick around because we've got another set of wonderful Christmas poems coming up. You can tell I'm excited about it. I said earlier in the show, I love poetry, and some of the most beautiful poems ever written have been written around Christmas. So with that having been said, let's get our readers up for our second poetry segment and get them introduced. I'm just delighted to be joined here. You look around me we've got Phil and Mark and Brenna and Tara, and we're going to read some Christmas poems for you. So with all of that, thank you guys for being here and for taking time and being part of the Variety Hour. Deeply appreciated. And I think I'll just start. So remind me, who has the first poem? Tara, is that you?
That would be me, yes.
I think it is. So I'll tell you what, I'll kick it over to you. Tell us what you're reading and then delight us with your recitation.
Okay, I will try to do that. My poem is called My Gift by Christina G. Rossetti. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what I can give him, give my heart.
I love that. So let's see. So from Tara, we go to, is it Phil?
Yes.
Phil, how are you, sir? Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. I have a poem by John Greenleaf Whittier called A Christmas Carmen. And since I happen to be a Latin teacher, I know Carmen means song. So think of this as a song. And it's a call to peace and unity. Hope you like it. Sound over all waters, reach out from all lands, the chorus of voices, the clasping of hands. Sing hymns that were sung by the stars of the morn, sing songs of the angels when Jesus was born. With glad jubilations, bring hope to the nations. The dark night is ending and dawn has begun. Rise, hope of the ages, arise like the sun. All speech flow to music, all hearts beat as one. Sing the bridal of nations with chorals of love. Sing out the war vulture and sing in the dove, till the hearts of the peoples keep time in accord, and the voice of the world is the voice of the Lord. Clasp hands of the nations in strong gratulations. The dark night is ending and dawn has begun. Rise, hope of the ages, arise like the sun. All speech flow to music, all hearts beat as one. Blow bugles of battle, the marches of peace. East, west, north, and south, let the long quarrel cease. Sing the song of great joy that the angels began. Sing of glory to God and of goodwill to man. Hark, joining the chorus, the heavens bend o'er us. The dark night is ending and dawn has begun. Rise, hope of the ages, rise like the sun. All speech flow to music, all hearts beat as one.
Boy, I love that. Brenna, are you up?
Next.
I was going to say, are you?
I am.
Very
yes, ma'am.
good.
I'll be reading short and sweet, The Holy Christmas Birth by William Makepeace Thackeray. As fits the holy Christmas birth, be this, good friends, our carol still. Be peace on earth, to men of gentle will.
I love that. You're right. Short and sweet. Sometimes that gets it done, right? Thank you, ma'am. And Mark, so you must be up next.
I am. And you have given me a poem to read that is probably by the poet that wrote the most poems of anyone in the world, and that is anonymous.
That's right. Oh, anonymous. So good.
That's right. So most people have always heard this as a song. It's one of the old English carols, and you've probably heard it every year at Hanging of the Green if you go, and that is The Holly and the Ivy. The holly and the ivy are both well known. Of all the trees that are in the wood, the holly bears the crown. The holly bears a blossom as white as the lily flower, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to be our sweet Savior. The holly bears a berry as red as any blood, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to do poor sinners good. The holly bears a prickle as sharp as any thorn, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ on Christmas Day in the morn. The holly bears a bark as bitter as any gall, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ for to redeem us all. The holly and the ivy now are both well grown. Of all the trees that are in the wood, the holly bears the crown.
I love that. Thank you for reading that. And as a poem as well as a song, right? So Tara, it is snowing a little bit here. And by snowing, I mean raining, but I am hoping that at some point the temperature will drop and maybe we will see some snow. I don't know if there is any sort of gentle rain snow falling in your neck of the woods, but you have another poem for us.
I do. My second poem is called A Catch by the Hearth, also by the most famous author of poems, Anonymous Unknown. And when I was reading through this poem, you know, I think the thing that is different this year, when I always thought of Christmas growing up, it was always about going home to my family, and my favorite part of it was going to Christmas Eve service at church. And I think for a variety of reasons, I loved the way my pastor would read the Christmas story. I loved the lights, I loved the music. But I also got to see all my friends and people in my church community that maybe like when I went to college, I didn't get to see all the time. And it was just nice to feel that love and sense of community there. And I think looking at this year, I know a lot of people were not, because of the pandemic, it's going to be different this year. And, you know, for me personally, I've lost both my parents. And so this is the first Christmas without either one of them. So it's a little bit different feeling with Christmas. And I know a lot of people, you know, are sad that they're not going to be able to spend it with their loved ones. But I think that it's those memories and just people that you love, that you can make your own Christmas memories with those, and they're still with you, even if they're not physically present. But to also make sure that you do what you can to connect with them and to enjoy them during this holiday season whenever you get to talk with them or see them. So without further ado, A Catch by the Hearth. Sing we all merrily, Christmas is here, the day that we love best of days in the year. Bring forth the holly, the box and the bay, deck out our cottage for glad Christmas Day. Sing we all merrily, draw round the fire, sister and brother, grandson and sire.
Boy, I love that too. Hey, so Phil, you taught for years. And I always get this wrong. For a long time, I had you, I know it was in the humanities. You were a Spanish teacher, is that right? Or Italian or Latin?
Spanish. I'm mostly Latin. Actually, I'm in my 42nd year of teaching in the Parkway School District. I figured out today I have driven to Parkway Central Middle School 8,000 times roughly and home again.
So you have familiarity. You know, you're a man of languages, right? A Renaissance type individual, if you will.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I've saddled you. I asked you to read one of our most famous, a poem by one of our more famous persons of literature in history, really.
Yeah, some of you may have heard of William Shakespeare, and you may have heard of Hamlet. Some say that ever against that season comes, wherein our Savior's birth is celebrated, this bird of dawning singeth all night long. And then they say no spirit dares stir abroad. The nights are wholesome. Then no planets strike, no fairy takes, nor witch hath power to charm. So hallowed and so gracious is this time.
Perfect. Phil, I thought that was quite beautiful. So you should have been teaching English in addition to Latin and Spanish all of those years. There's still time. There's still time. Go sign up right now. They need English. So Brenna, I don't want to steal your thunder here, but we transition from a very old piece of poetry to something a little more sentimental and modern, but I think quite beautiful nonetheless.
You'll find out a little more as I read. The Littlest Angel by Ralph Seeger. It happened this side of the Milky Way when the littlest angel started to play tag with a bat. Then he lost sight of the angel flight that turned to the right. When they reached cloud 9 and flew out of view, he was lost and didn't know what to do. He asked a night owl to show him the route, but he didn't even give him a hoot. His halo slipped sideways and caught on his ear as he fingered a feather to wipe off a tear. His wings were tired, he wanted to rest, so he circled around to find the best place he could land and stay for a while, and there, just ahead, about a mile, he saw a hillside dotted with sheep, folded down on their knees and all asleep. Setting his wings in an easy glide, he came into light right beside a newborn lamb that awoke with a bleat, shivering and tottering to its feet. The littlest angel felt the chill and covered the lamb with its wings until the baby was warmed by the summery feathers that sheltered him from the wintry weathers. And now 2 little ones that were lost were found where heaven and earth had crossed. The angel took the lamb to its mother. Then looking upward, he saw another, one of his kind, his very own, come to guide him to the throne. When the main flight of angels returned and sang till the court resounded and echoed and rang with the tale they told of Bethlehem's glory, the littlest angel thought of his story. Though he had seen neither wise men nor kings, he had saved a lamb under his wings. But since he was the youngest cherubim, it seemed unimportant what happened to him. Too tired to stay up, he fell into bed, and a hand placed his halo back on his head.
Oh, I
Quite
really
sweet.
like that. Very
Quite
sweet.
sweet. So, Mark, back to you to sort of bring us home here.
Well, another poem by John Greenleaf Whittier. And I don't think that he knew the term pay it forward, but we understand what that means these days. And I think this poem kind of sums up the whole idea of what it means to pay it forward. So it's called The Joy of Giving. Somehow, not only for Christmas, but all the long year through, the joy that you give to others is the joy that comes back to you. And the more you spend in blessing the poor and lonely and sad, the more of your heart's possessing returns to you glad.
Thank you all so much again for agreeing to do this, and I hope as you head out into your Christmas season that you're able to get all the many things done that you have on your list to do, and that on your Christmas days you're also able to get that quiet, meaningful time that I think we all hope for. Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a great season.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Well, that brings us to the end of the KBC Christmas Variety Hour. Maybe more than an hour, maybe more like 90 minutes or so. Only 2 or 3 things left to do. First, I hope everyone did enjoy it, and it did bring a little joy into your heart that you smiled. And we're happy to see some of the folks from the church who have been thinking about you and know that you are thinking about them in this extraordinary and difficult time. Second, I want to thank a few people. First of all, I want to thank the church staff, Matt and Taylor and Don and Kyle, for being supportive of this little project. I want to thank Taylor, of course, for all the playing that he did on the various chock full of hock numbers. I want to thank the incredible Jody Clegg for all the playing that he did and the support that he offered. I want to give a very special thanks to Doug Gavin, who, as I mentioned earlier, produced 2 of the numbers that were featured in the show. And finally, and most importantly, I want to thank my executive producer, my wife and the love of my life, Andrea Lacey, who allowed me over the last 3 or 4 weeks, despite a global pandemic and the end of the school year and Christmas coming and all the things that needed to be done, to basically disappear for 2 or 3 weeks so I could sing songs and tell jokes. I love you. Thank you so much for everything that you do and for letting me do this. And finally, I want to leave you all with an Irish blessing. The Irish, boy, they know how to bless. And this is an Irish blessing, particularly for Christmas. God grant you lightness in your step, a smile on every face you meet, loved ones gathered at your hearth, and at your door good friends to greet, a holy hymn upon your lips, a window candle burning bright, and may the good Lord bless your heart and come to dwell here Christmas night. Merry Christmas. All right, this is a mic test. Test, 1, 2, 1, 2.